Hello and welcome to Campaign Comrades, your favorite leftist gaming podcast. The Comrades are here. It's the middle of the month. We have been playing some games, and we're here to talk about them. In some cases, mine, I've been playing a lot of games.
And in some cases, mine, very few.
Yeah. So Matt, we're just thankful that Matt is actually able to be here today. Just didn't have to work 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So are they legally allowed to do that?
Yes.
But for how long? But for how, like, I feel like that's got to be like a limited amount of time.
I mean, it's really just to the push to the end of September for when the project phase is due. Because we have to, be operational, functional, and tested by the end of September for them to pay us the $5.5 million for the machine.
Yeah, that's not an insignificant amount of money.
We had quite the breakthrough yesterday because we were all very defeated and we were about to give up. And then one of the electrical engineers was like, "Ha! I fucked something up and I wired it backwards. That's what's wrong with it." Because we were at that point of like, holy shit! If it's a motor that's fucked, that's a year out part that takes forever to get here.
Oh my god!
Which is why we're not working today.
Electricians proving again why they're dealing with black magic and sorcery. Things can go terribly, terribly wrong. Have you performed the proper rituals? Have you paid subservience to the machine spirit?
See, for him, it's mostly just that he's so squirrel-brained and always thinking of like 17 things at the same time that like he'll easily forget something very simple and just like walk past it.
He misreads the sacred text. Classic problem.
Well, we overnight shipped a part that he thought was broken that ended up costing us like several thousands of dollars and got it to the facility yesterday, only to find out that the part that he thought was broken was completely fine because he was looking at it next to the part that got shipped in. He's like, wow, so that's just how it looks apparently. It's not...
Hey, but now you got a backup. Now you got a spare.
Yeah,
That's just how it looks.
That was one of his, like, I don't want to say this, but, like, no one can tell the project managers, but I made an oops.
I made an oopsie.
Yeah, less of a problem when it's me yelling at the IKEA service rep about how they didn't include the right part.
They didn't give me my extra dowel pin. How am I supposed to put together my Malm dresser? Or my Poang chair.
I saw a great post yesterday that like the best way to do it is download the instructions offline and then just slowly over time reach out to customer service and tell them that
you're missing a piece.
You're missing a different piece each time and slowly just amass the pieces. It was like instead of ship of Theseus, it was ship of some weird Swedish word of Jalberg.
Yeah, that giant wood piece, the giant S-shaped wood piece that makes the side frame of the chair, it wasn't in the box. I don't know what to tell you.
That is a significant oopsie, folks. But we're a gaming podcast after all, right? So let's talk about games. And I think it's easier for me to talk about what games haven't I been playing. Although, in fairness, as I was going through before we started recording and looking at, okay, what are the games that I've played since our last kind of check-in episode, and what is the grand total number? So not including what I'm actively playing right now, I played 10 games in the last month. But in fairness, a full half of them were single sitting games. We're all like 1 to like 2.5, 3 hours.
What he's not telling people is that a single sitting is a 9-hour shift.
Yeah. No, they're like. So let's read off the ones that, because also I can cross off. I finished Donkey Kong Bonanza during this month too, but like it doesn't really count. But let's see. I played Despelote, Grease or Gris, Gris.
Yeah, not Grease
not Grease Lightning, not Grease Lightning. So Despelote, Grease, Florence, Duck Detective, The Case of the Secret Salami, or Stolen Salami, something salami. The Secret Salami, yeah. Fantastic.
I have a secret salami.
Yeah. Highly recommend that one. I'm waiting for its recently released sequel to go on sale. Highly recommend that one. He's a noir duck detective who, instead of like being addicted to booze or heroin or something, he's addicted to white bread. He's spent all his money on a divorce lawyer and white bread.
I thought this was like Darkwing Duck.
No, it's fantastic. Really good.
That pure white.
Yeah. So Despelote, Florence, Grease, Duck Detective, and then What Remains of Edith Finch. It's like one that's kind of like been sitting in my backlog forever. One of those indie games everybody tells you to play, and it was good. I agree. Everyone should play it. Very, very good. So you can kind of count half of those, a full half of them, as one and done type of things. And then I had a couple others. One I won't mention because it ties into what Andrew's playing. But these two spent like 10 hours. But I did play the Gears of War. I was one of the few to play Gears of War Reloaded on PS5. Apparently not doing so hot on PS5. Did either of you play any of the original Gears?
I was never an Xbox boy.
I played Gears of War 3 in college because my roommate had an Xbox. So that was the only way I got exposed.
I obviously had a 360 at one point, but it was never a series I got into.
I primarily played the Horde mode, which was a lot of fun, and just zombies, Call of Duty zombies, Gears
with chain gun. Yeah, I mean, people flock to those games largely for its online and multiplayer things anyways. The campaigns are not an insignificant thing, but they had more staying power because of the online. Although that apparently had a whole host of problems with this release of being a really busted meta of just dodge roll up to a guy, shotgun him in the face, and roll away.
Yeah, I mean, that tracks.
So it's
Did you enjoy it?
Enjoy is an interesting word. There's at least one section that I actively disliked, but I enjoyed a good amount of the cover shooting. I really found satisfying the active reload mechanic. That was satisfying whenever you pulled that off. Most of like the major encounters are very gimmicky, and so one of them I didn't like. I'm not certain though if that one is from the original game or from the extra content that was part of like the kind of the remastered bit that when this is a remaster of a remaster, right? And so the original remaster had added content, and I think this may have been from that section. It's like you fight this big fucking T-Rex monster thing, and you have to like shoot its weapons out, then its legs, then stun it, and you just need to get one shot on the pilot, who like gets exposed really quickly. And what was fucking me up is that my AI companion was absolutely brain dead, completely useless, would just run out into the middle, get mowed down, and just die immediately. Never pull any aggro, besides just getting stomped to death. And yeah, I had to run that section a bunch, but it was fine. I can see why people enjoy it. I prefer third-person shooting to first-person shooting as a general rule, so it was enjoyable enough for the 6.5 hours that it took to beat the campaign.
That was a full $60 release? $70
no,
release?
50 I think. I'm pretty sure it was 50.
How did it look? Is it visually pleasing?
Yeah, although I had a lot of the complaints from old heads was that in the kind of updated visuals, I can't remember if it's an Unreal game or not, but like one of the things that's lost in the updating of the visuals is some of the more darker, grittier, atmospheric things. So the one that people highlight the most, there's this enemy type that of course I'm not steeped in the lore. I played it for 6.5 hours and put it away. I don't remember the name of this thing, but they're these like swarm bird-like monster, bat-like monster things that the whole gimmick is that they don't like the light. So in different sections you use light to combat them. In the original game, when they first appear in like a cutscene, it's this like really big swarm, and just the kind of volumetric effects just make it look really menacing. Like there's truly a cloud of them descending onto the field. But in the remake, they just look like little kind of, like the not caricature, but like, the way you draw like a bird on like the really simple, just like the, I don't even know how.
Jonathan Livingston Seagull.
Yeah, exactly. Like everyone, what I'm talking about. They just look like those basically, but slightly animated, and so they lose this sense of menace and the kind of this oppressive quality. So it's this bit of tone that is kind of it's lost in favor of clarity, which is a choice. But looked fine. It doesn't play as dated as you would maybe think. It's largely because it is, kind of a foundational game for this era of kind of shooters that we kind of still are in with third-person shooting. You know, you can see how it laid the groundwork for cover shooting. Absolutely. Yeah, it was, I could afford whatever price it was, but yeah, maybe get it on sale. It's a fun enough game to play.
Will it ever come to PS Plus?
PS Plus. That's an interesting question.
You're doing the Xbox fan thing where like I'll only get it when it's on Game Pass.
I mean, I absolutely will only play this if it comes to PS Plus.
I mean, I'm
If a
definitely
Microsoft game comes to PS Plus, it is surely a sign of the end of times.
No, man, it's a sign that Xbox is actually outperforming everyone else. Best year of the bunch.
Oh my god.
Most expensive console on the market.
The other major complaint, right, is the fact that this wasn't a collection. That this should have been like an original trilogy collection for its price. That you weren't getting enough new, you weren't getting... It's a fresh coat of paint, it's more gears. Yes, the online mode plays at 120 FPS. Great. But yeah, it should have been a collection. That would have been kind of easy money at that point. I think you would have seen a lot more sales. So, yeah, Matt, let's turn to you before I do have like an actual full game or series or something that I want to dive into, and maybe I'll get to that after Matt because it's at least tangentially related it's in the JRPG space. So, Matt, with what you have been able to play, you've been all in on Digimon. Are you gonna be? You've already said you're gonna be holding off and not playing Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yotei, which I want to. There's some things to talk about with. I don't know if now's the right time to talk about. You know, Ghost of Yotei is basically threat. I put in scare quotes. Threat of being boycotted by both sides for various, political bullshit that's maybe worth getting into, and some weird kind of hypocrisies going on at Sucker Punch. But for non-political reasons, you have decided that you're not going to play Yotei right at launch, that you're focusing on Digimon.
Yeah, this is the year of Digimon. I'm going all in.
So are you going to be able to play Time Stranger in time when it launches, or how far into Cyber Sleuth are you?
I'm like 25 hours in, something like that. I have the advantage of I've already played this game before, so I'm going through with a bit of knowledge. There's some old JRPG jank into it. It's not old, but I mean, holy shit, it came out in 2015. I guess we're talking decade old at this point. There's some old, they don't exactly always tell you where you should be going. You kind of have to imply and figure it out. And I definitely remember my first time through in this game, just being like, well, I have 8 different areas that I can run around. I'm just going to keep running around and talking to all the characters until something happens of note or importance, because there's like, oh, you have to go to the cafe and get your boss coffee beans or something like that. And it was like a throwaway line at the end of a mission where she's like, oh, I wish I could make you more coffee or something like that. Because there's a whole running joke where she makes horrifying coffee abominations, like coffee, tapioca, and seaweed.
Whatever happened to coffee-flavored coffee? Come on, folks. It's even hitting the wokeness is even hitting Japan. They gotta have their pumpkin spice seaweed latte.
Well, the whole running joke is that no one likes her coffee, and whenever she offers it, it's essentially a punishment.
Humiliation ritual.
Yeah, like there's like a police detective who will pop in occasionally, and he'll fake like a radio call and like, oh nope, gotta run, can't wait for your whatever soybean coffee you're about to make.
Yeah, this is how the coffee's how they're dispensing the woke via the soy.
I mean, the soy lattes have been a thing for a while, and if any culture is going to be, or maybe prove or disprove depending upon the preponderance of catboy maid cafes in their country, that maybe the soyification is maybe very real. Who knows?
I mean, not going to confirm or deny that if you play as the boy character in Cyber Sleuth, you are definitely a hardcore femboy. Like straight up femboy design. I've been having a good time with it, though.
Can you put cat ears?
I'm sure there is a costume that I could put on that have cat ears if I go digging far enough. I wear my Cyber Sleuth shirt because I'm a hardcore investigator, investigating digital crimes, like a company doing a hostile takeover and then killing the former corporate lead.
Doing it with Digimon digital monsters? Is there a Digimon assassin?
Doing it with real gun and bullet. but then hiding those files in their network.
I've digitally assassinated you.
That is a running theme of. So the game centers around.
They're doing cancel culture. They're doing cancel culture in the computer.
They straight up call it a metaverse. They were to the metaverse before Zuck did, and before he went out and embarrassed himself in front of a live audience with his new AI glasses.
I've seen really funny posts about like the weird. He's like a steak focused content creator. The guy who was trying to do the demonstration for the AI glasses, but he's been taken out back and turned into mincemeat. So he's been executed by the Zuck.
What's the first step? Now that you've made your sauce, grate some pear into it. What's the first step? Please tell me. You're gonna kill me.
I'm really surprised that not more people have come to the obvious conclusion that they've bought into it was the Wi-Fi excuse.
Oh no,
this was clearly a script that
this was a set
up.
list of responses that the AI was supposed to go through, and it got fucked up and just missed like a couple steps in between.
Wait, there's people that actually believe the Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
If you actually believe that Meta can have Wi-Fi that doesn't work reliably,
admittedly, anyone can have Wi-Fi that has a moment. Like, my Wi-Fi at home is great, and I've had it a couple times where it's like, it says I have connection, but if you check the speed, there's no speed, so you just got to unplug it, replug it in, and then it works fine.
I mean, sure, but I wouldn't think, my bet is they weren't even using Wi-Fi. They had that shit hardwired to make sure that wouldn't be a problem.
If it was a Wi-Fi problem, the IT manager has been brought out back and converted into Mark Zuckerberg's next topiary.
He went for a helicopter ride.
It was the fact that dumbass content creator, which again, you should hire actual professionals to do this kind of thing. He interrupted the scripted voice and it just fucked it up. It just completely fucked it up. Spending millions, if not billions of dollars for an absolute shit show. We love it. We love to see we love to see the rainforest burn down for his pleasure.
So you can learn how to put pear into a dish that definitely doesn't include pear.
Some Korean barbecue does include a grated pear into the sauce.
Oh, they were doing Korean barbecue? Okay, I missed that.
You wanted a Korean-inspired steak sauce.
Okay, fine, fair enough.
So it was reading through, it was like, you're going to want soy and sesame oil, and then he cut it off. He's like, what's the first step? Just tell me what I'm doing. I don't care about everything else. And that's where it all went downhill. And similarly, the corporation in Cyber Sleuth who's running this metaverse called Eden, the idealistic clean blue world, as Ben has described it.
Which, is my biggest barrier to starting, is the fact that it just looks really boring and bland whenever you're in cyberspace. It's just like same blue back. You're fighting Digimon on against the same blue background over and over again.
Which isn't true. You get digital shifts into the real world, which
that's what I was asking. Like, when is the
chapter 4 is when you get your first
things start getting mixed up? Because I've looked up. Show me Digimon Cyber Sleuth gameplay, and it's just blue background, blue. Like,
show me Digimon.
They're truly trying to give me blue light poisoning. Is how I felt about the game, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to play that. So, Matt, sell me on why I would like Digimon, why I should like this, because Time Stranger looks very good.
Well, we'll start with the first dichotomy.
So, like,
Time Stranger looks very good. It's releasing a little bit before Pokemon Legends Z to A, which looks very bad. There's no better time for the rise of Digimon than it is now. We are strong, we are together, we are champions.
Digimon together strong.
Yep. But the actual story that's being told in Cyber Sleuth, it's an actual game. Like, we're not talking like a Pokemon story where it's like, here, 10-year-old boy, take these creatures and go commit war crimes.
Do animal testing.
They like it.
Go fight this organized crime unit.
Yeah, 10-year-old boy, go fight interdimensional god beings.
It focuses around so that the Eden metaverse cyberspace, it might not be all that it's chalked up to be. There might be, let's just call them bugs in the code that result in people's actual memory data, like their actual brain data, getting deleted.
Does everybody have like the Neuralink chip in their brain?
No, You access it through.
Do you all have like
means.
neuroports like in Cyberpunk? Do you have the port behind the ear?
Couldn't tell you. They don't show.
Am I jacking in?
Various people get into to eat in through different means. I think in the beginning we get in through like our cell phone.
What happens to your body when your consciousness enters the digital space?
That's the inciting incident, is that our character, when he gets attacked by this bug and he's trying to eject from cyberspace, he gets ejected as purely digital data and not as a person. So he enters the real world as a cybernetic code, essentially.
It digitized my soul, mama.
Yes. You eventually go onto a mission where you infiltrate a hospital and you find out, oh yeah, your real body is just fucking comatose, just knocked unconscious with no soul left inside it, because your soul has been digitized and ejected.
What is like the metaphysical and ontological thesis of the Digimon universe? So the soul is quantifiable, can literally transfer it into data, and can separate it from your corporeal flesh.
Yeah, the soul is real. It can be converted to ones and zeros.
What impact does that have on society and culture? Does religion still exist in the Digimon universe? Are the digital monsters God?
Well, I can tell you, I don't know if there's religion. I don't think I've encountered any churches. I have encountered, because it's a Japanese game, there's an occult club who bands together with you because they're getting some like weird messages on their phone. Turns out they're just actually being haunted by the ghost of a Japanese girl who got hit by a truck crossing a crosswalk. That's a fun mission.
But did her soul get digitized in the process?
No, she's an actual ghost. That was the whole...
Okay, so ghost exists, but but non-digitally. Okay, interesting. Yeah. Interesting blend.
Your boss basically is like, oh, it's got to be like a Digimon problem, and like you go through solving it. It's like, oh shit, no, that was just like the spirit of a girl who was killed. We're not suited for this shit.
We're not qualified to handle this.
We're not doing this anymore.
Damn. But hit me with how's the combat feel?
Combat's fun. I mean, it's a turn-based system similar to the Personas and the Shin Megami Tenseis, where you have a basic attack function, which is just an attack that you can do. And then you have learned skills that you can work through, and I think you can have up to 20 of those that cost skill points to perform. And as you get stronger, you get more skill points. You can do the attacks more.
Is that per mon?
Yeah. And as you evolve them, you can inherit previous skills from their previous form. So you can carry skills over so that you can be like, oh, his previous form had a cool heal ability. I want to carry that forward and be able to heal myself without spending items. And then each one also has like a passive ability on top of that. So like one of them in my party currently has a passive that the whole active party regains 20% of damage that they've dealt as a healing, which is a nice little like throw it in your back pocket. Cool. Some of them will be like increase all your Digimon speed by 50%. Some of them are a defensive buff, offensive buff, various components.
The game call them mons?
I mean, they are all Digimon. You call them by their names.
So they're named?
What fucks me up is that they all speak English or Japanese, depending on what language you're speaking. They're like, some of them are just people. It's like, they're just like lion men that like they wear jeans. That bit is kind of upsetting to me. Is like
that's
that,
Leomon.
Yeah, he just wears like skinny jeans, and
I mean there's Angemon, which is just an angel dude. There's Angelwoman, which is just an angel woman. Yep, there are waifus. If Mike was here, I would tell him that the big selling point for him is that there's more Digimon that you could fuck than there are Pokemon.
I mean, I think that's subjective.
Part of what draws him to the Pokemon is, the exploratory nature of figuring out what can and cannot be fucked.
There was a meme I saw yesterday where it was like a Nurse Joy, and behind her was like a screen with your Pokemon group as they were like healing them. And you can see like a Gardevoir, a Vaporeon, Lopunny. Yeah. And like a couple other ones, and it was Nurse Joy like looking up at him and was like, I know what type of person you are.
I know what kind of trainer you are. Damn.
I know. I've seen into your soul.
There are no laws against Pokemon, Batman. Man, I really still don't know.
I would say start with Time Stranger more than...
Yeah, but...
If you were on the fence, there's a demo. You can try the demo out.
I know. I'm in favor of demos existing. I tend not to like to play them myself.
Yes, but this is a game if you're on the fence about. You try the demo and see.
Yeah, well, no, but my hesitancy more for doing anything with Time Stranger is, one, I already own a copy of Cyber Sleuth, and the feeling of then potentially going backwards for the quality of life stuff, that's what is, I feel concerned about setting myself up to be annoyed by Cyber Sleuth if I were to play them in reverse order. That things that I may not necessarily find too problematic if I were to play it first, like you were describing the training planet zone thing, and it's one thing I had even seen that they've talked about in marketing stuff for Time Stranger, is that we have made all these quality of life improvements that have streamlined, made that process more accessible, less tedious to have to go back, and less menu surfing and stuff like that. Whereas if I were to go through that normally, I feel like I probably wouldn't be too annoyed with it. To then get to those improvements, I'd feel good. It'd feel good and natural and iterative. Whereas if I were to do it backwards, I'd be like, wow, this is a slog to go through compared to the much better version that I just played. So I don't really know that
think
I want
about
to do
it.
that.
You could see your Digimon eating meat, riding in a train car, going around their island.
I'm still interested enough to consider playing Cyber Sleuth first.
It's got an interesting capture mechanic. Instead of throwing Pokeballs, it's just every time you encounter a Digimon, you record some of their data. And once you have enough of the data, you can just convert it into a program.
Was Cyber Sleuth originally like a Vita game?
Yes,
or
it
something?
was a Vita game that then got because the Vita end of lifespan had a lot of games where it released on Vita, and then a couple years later they released it essentially again just on PS4.
That honestly seems to be where a lot of the limitations of it emerge from.
Vita game.
Is a Vita game that, you know, just again feels like a port that we've discussed it with games like Crisis Core, right? That was a PSP game, obviously, but that playing it on a traditional home console feels a little odd, not just in terms of quality of life and technical ability, but how it's designed, right? That missions are structured around, oh, you're only going to play in short play sessions, whereas it will get really tedious.
That's why I play it on Switch. It does give you that little bit of crossover feel where, yes, because I played Cyber Sleuth, even though it was a Vita game, I played it on my PlayStation TV, my little Vita box.
Yeah.
That I plugged into my TV.
Yeah,
that was fucking cool.
I'm just
back when consoles could be cool.
I just like there seems to be a tedium to it that I'm uncertain that I'd be able to.
That's actually one of the reasons they say the Switch version is the ideal version to play. Is that because of the way the Switch's sleep function works, you can leave the game open, put it to sleep, and you can have your farm just running in the background and just doing things idle.
It can. Oh, I didn't know that it can do that. I thought it more truly suspends function.
No, that was when reading through it. That's why people recommend the Switch version of the complete edition, is because you can truly avoid a lot of the farm tedium by, you know, putting it to sleep and then coming back in a couple hours and, you know, they're all leveled up a lot, or the investigation they're performing has been done, or the training that you're putting them through is over.
I'll look into that. I do, again, technically already own it.
It did beat Pal World to having your slave monsters building stuff for you.
Okay, I am in favor of that. Indentured servitude, always a plus.
But beyond that, even though I've been playing it on Switch and I could be taking my Switch to bed with me, I've been doing the ultimate playing Elden Ring on my Steam Deck again, because that game will never leave. And just working through another New Game Plus cycle and working my way through quests and missions that I need to get the alternate version of to get different items, continuing to perfect my cancer build in all ways, shape, and form. I think I've found its ultimate form. I don't think it can get any more cancerous than what I've built.
Is your cancer build, that's just like a shit ton of status effects, right?
Yeah, so it's an Antspur Rapier with the Poison Mist, Ash of War, Blood Attune, so it builds up bleed, with a main Gouch in my offhand set to a Cold Attunement, so it builds up Frost, with Parry as its Ash of War.
Interesting.
So I just power stance a fast poking moveset and build up Bleed, Frost, Rot, and then I always start out with the Poison Mist, Ash of War, so it's always got a poison, basically like a poison grease on it. So I'm doing all of them. I had messed around with trying Poison Moth Flight instead for a deadly poison build, but a little harder to get because you don't get the greased passive effect. You just have to hit the attack with it. So like I went into Rolana and just absolutely dumpstered her. Didn't even really get to see her face transition. She didn't even get to drop her balls.
Say how far have you gotten into it if you're already in the DLC?
So I've already beaten Morgott. I then decided time to turn around and go to the DLC. Did the whole sewer section. You got touched by the three fingers so I can get my Frenzied Flame ending, because that's the one ending I'm missing at this point. Time to burn it all down.
Yeah.
I felt really bad because I forgot that there's just like a whole setup with Melina where after you get touched by the three fingers and the next grace you go to, she fucking rips you apart.
She's like, next time I see you, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to stomp on your balls and kill you.
But it wasn't that. It was that she was sad that she gave me Torrent. And I was like, oh, you're right. Because Torrent didn't want to go into the woods in the DLC. And now he's being ridden by a Lord of Frenzied Flame.
I'm pretty sure there's something in the Frenzied Flame ending that shows like his bell or whatever it's like charred or something. So it's basically implied that Torrent dies in the Frenzied Flame ending. So really why it's the worst ending.
But yeah, I'm also speed running through the DLC. So I've done Rolana, I've done the Dancing Lion, and I'm working my way up to Mesmer right now because I want to truly see how dangerous what I've built is.
How is speedrunning in the DLC with having to pick up the Shadow Tree
Nope, they carry over.
Okay, that's convenient.
I'm already max Shadow Tree level.
Then
can't go any higher.
Convenient.
It's the same way that like all of the golden seeds work in the base game. You can't get more golden seeds in the deal.
Well, you can get more.
You can pick them up. They just don't do anything.
They just don't do anything. That's right.
I did try. I picked up a bunch of them. And it was like, give me more levels, and it was like, you can't. I was like, you bastard.
What New Game Plus is this?
4?
You've platinumed it already, right?
No, I'm one ending short.
Oh, you just need this ending.
The Frenzied Flame ending.
Yeah, I don't know how I'd feel about. I feel like I could get into doing another full playthrough of Elden Ring, but there are too many other things to play, right? That's kind of where I come down on it.
You see, my friends stopped playing Night Rain with me, so I had to get my Elden.
I'm seeing the community turn on this new mode. They're like reviews.
They're all bad. They're all bad at the game.
No, it's not.
They're
just
mad
saying like
they're bad.
No, it's just the fact that this new mode has only exacerbated existing problems and not fixed anything.
Yes,
not brought anything.
It's called skill issue. Get good.
No, not in that. It's like they're not. No one's complaining that it's too difficult. You know, they're just complaining that it's
depth 5, so they don't know.
They're just complaining that it's not fun. That like there's no new enemies. No new maps, no new bosses. The only thing that's different is some enemies are red and they do more damage and have more
actual
health.
Difference is the build classing with the extra relics.
And that's what people are saying is like
the extra
actually
passives on
is
the weapons.
Only just exacerbating the existing problems of RNG just being dog shit. I've seen plenty of people talk about how what they've done to weapons with they have the added extra passives, 2 good, 1 bad. They said all it has effectively done is, RNG was already an issue. All it has done is just actually expanded the RNG pool, so that just makes randomness a greater thing. There is actually less stability in buildcraft at this point. But basically, it is almost never a good idea to take one of these new weapons because the negative passive is always bad. It was supposed to be counteracted by the give and take of you get then 2 good bonuses. However, the RNG is still so bad that you're almost never going to get 2 positive passives that help you. That you're at best going to get 1. You're going to get 1 good and 1 bad, so that the bad one that you're guaranteed to get is only going to hurt you, and you're not getting that second extra positive bonus to even things out. So it's basically never a good idea to take this new weapon.
Because those are like 2 disparate play style.
It'll be improved magic damage, and you're a raider, and it's just like, well, fuck me. It may be like increased stance breaking, but then increased magic damage, and it's just like, well, that does nothing for me.
I mean,
it's all sorts of that shit.
Because if you're running something with like Frost Attunement, increased magic damage increases the Frost build.
But again, the randomness is still too wide for that to actually... The stars have to align to such a degree for that to actually be worthwhile that it is a miss. It is not solved any of the actual issues that exist in the game, which weren't too big in the base level, but the addition of the negative thing on those weapons just makes those a non-starter. And then relics are just, again, there's just a wider pool of things to pull from, so it just creates the rolls are just going to be dog shit the majority of the time. Like most of the new relics are also pretty shit. At least for some of the slots, it's like to get a god roll on a relic is like, so the percentage is so low that it's just grinding for no real reward, and what you're actually playing isn't that different. It has not changed what was getting stale in the original game. Again, for me, I need a new map.
Yeah, I want a new map. That's fair.
I don't need enemies that hit harder. I don't need that. What I want the challenge to come from is making runs a complete unknown at this point, whereas the challenge and the drive to keep playing is to learn the map, right? And we're not getting that, so that's why I haven't touched it.
Yeah, I would prefer them adding, like, making the challenge around that as opposed to just
that is one of the
difficulty.
Depth things. I think once you get to depth 4, they stop showing you things on the map. There's
right,
no
but
more,
like it's
so you have to go
it's
out
still the same, but it's still
the same map.
It's still the same map. It's still the same. Like, seeds are essentially still the same. Like, you're not gonna end up seeing different stuff. And
I just hope they do that with the DLC. As long as they do that with the DLC.
That would be the next big change, to bring me back.
Has there been any news on that?
I mean, all the DLC stuff's in the code.
Was it supposed to be winter, though? Next?
It's probably going to be...
next big thing?
Probably going to be November or end of October.
We'll see. So, backing up just a little bit for, speaking of like, JRPG, turn-based combat, what can games do to keep me invested and to draw me in with good tactical combat? I don't know that Digimon can do it for me. I think I need to maybe look up some end game stuff to see how it might get me. He said, he calls it it's Persona-esque in that sense. Persona really started to bore me by the end, by hour 100 of Persona 5. So
yeah, but I think that's more just that game being super.
But by hour, but by hour,
pretty short, relatively.
No, it's probably it's not that long, but it's still in the 50 to 60 hour range.
Shit, I didn't realize that.
But where the difference is, then something like Metaphor kept me engaged throughout the whole playthrough because of some simple kind of tactical changes, but it was also the addition of the kind of real-time element, which not like that was challenging. Yeah. But it also helps keep you from just feeling like every fight is a slog that you have to spend 10 minutes on a battle, on a turn-based battle against
something insignificant,
easy insignificant mobs. So that's great. So that then is a good transition to what I'm currently playing, which is the Trails in the Sky first chapter remake, and it has brought in that mix of tactical turn-based combat with it was new to the series with the start of the Daybreak arc, which is the kind of the current arc, or I don't really remember. They might be technically going into a new arc, and it's almost the second half of the overarching story. The whole Trail series is a saga, right? Mm-hmm. There are 13 games that exist right now, not including this remake. But the combat so far in the remake is super, super satisfying because it's still very simple real-time action. You're just button mashing, right? I mean, you're just mashing an attack button, but then you have a regular attack, and you want to try to dodge and get a perfect dodge on enemy attacks in the overworld combat. And by doing regular attacks or by doing a perfect dodge, you fill up think of it more like a heavy attack, but it's told more as a special attack gauge. And when you fill those up, and you can retaliate from a perfect dodge with a full bar of this special attack that just feels really good when it lands. There's some good kind of sound and haptic feedback to it, and the goal is to stun them for lower level enemies, you can beat them in the overworld combat. But then for any enemy, the goal is to build up their stun gauge, and once they're stunned, you transition seamlessly. I might add, the transitions to and from turn-based combat are completely seamless. There is no menu like in Metaphor where you get the stun and you press the button and there is a fade to black move into the next one.
Yeah.
None of that at all. So even the moving into turn-based stuff is super fast. So it's streamlining all this stuff while keeping it tactically engaging. But you get a stun. When you get the stun and start combat, you can start off with like a special kind of two versions of a special group attack. It's not worth describing the differences between them. There is a slight difference between them. One just does more damage, but you have to build up to get there. And then, so in the original games of the original Sky trilogy, how you get like advantage going into a round was always just by like running into the enemy from behind. It's like you get a sneak attack type thing. They're stunned for a round and you can do your damage. In this version, the only way to get that is by stunning. You get your party advantage by stunning at least somebody that's in the group of enemies that you're fighting. And then you transition again seamlessly into turn-based combat that is much more open. You're no longer on a grid. You've got it's kind of like the most recent Like a Dragon RPG where you've got like a circle of movement, so you can freely move within that circle. So positioning matters. Your special abilities have different, circles, lines, cones, all these area of effects. You got basic attacks, you got spells. The magic system in Trails is one of the highlights, in my opinion, of how you can kind of build out your different spell repertoire is really fun through these things you find, purchase in the world called orbaments, and the quartz that you fit into them is very fun. But it's just like super satisfying, and what I'm finding that I like the most about this game is these quality of life things that they've added to the experience. At first, for me, before I was really clicking with the combat, because this was completely new for me, having played the original Trails in the Sky in February this year, and I just played Trails in the Sky second chapter. I finished it 11 or 12 days ago, almost 2 weeks ago. So story is still pretty fresh in my mind. They haven't really changed any of that. There's no real added content. The world is cities. The cities are like the towns and stuff are one-to-one translations. The interconnecting spaces between them are slightly more open and have a little bit more exploration, not a lot, but the content is essentially one-to-one. So the story wasn't necessarily fully grabbing me because it's still kind of so current in my mind, and the world and the atmosphere is still as pleasant as before. But it fully wasn't grabbing me just because I feel like it was a little too current. However, once that combat clicked, it was just feeling super satisfying. And a lot of it has to do with what I was starting out this comment with, is that these quality of life things that they include, that you can kind of fine tune. There's a high level of specification that you can do. So at least in the PC ports of the original games, there is like a turbo mode. And I highly recommend you play the whole game with turbo mode. It speeds up overworld travel, regular cutscene animations, battle animations. It keeps things going so much faster. However,
nope, I'm not playing on ADHD mode where I need to have YouTube playing at ×5 speed. Is there a turtle mode where I can play it even slower?
It is I highly recommend you play it on turbo mode. You would be there forever. But in those versions, you have to hold the button to do turbo. It's just from right trigger is turbo mode. And there's a nice bit about that is that you have hyper control over when you're in turbo and when you're not, which was an issue I was running into in this game. But however, you have to hold it down. So I was basically holding the trigger down for 70 hours.
The whole time.
I basically got carpal tunnel in my index finger from doing that. It still hurts. I haven't recovered. But it's just like it's a toggle setting, and it's a toggle setting. So with how it was set at default, I was struggling a little bit. I'm like, shit's happening like too fast, or I like want it in this situation but not in this, and like I wish I had that fine-tuned control. But then you go into the settings and you can specify what is the speed of the overworld quick battles, which I have basically set to regular speed, and then I've got an increased speed on the turn-based things, so it speeds up those animations. So
That's cool. I like that.
But I was playing around with it. Like, you can do 2 times, 3 times, or 4 times speed on the turn-based battles, and I had it at like 3 times speed, and it was too fast. It was too fast. I was like, visually, I can't tell what's happening. There are these kind of not really quick time events, but kind of quick time events where if you get a stun in combat, in turn-based combat, you can get one of these group attacks, but if you don't hit the button soon enough, you miss the prompt, and you miss out on the opportunity for extra damage. And that was just happening way too fucking fast. And I'm just like, whoa, what's going on? So I turned it down to like 2 times speed and have found the sweet spot for it. And it's really nice. And you can like turn on auto advanced dialogue. You can shorten on every turn-based game like this, going back to Persona and Metaphor, the results screen at the end when you finish a battle, I shortened that down really, really far, so it's again quick.
I love this quality of life feature because that is honestly my biggest issue with turn-based games, is just how long everything takes. Like, it just gets to a point where I lose interest because I just need to do something different at some point. And
complete opposite of me. I love it being slow. Give it to me nice and slow. Make that text box even slower.
Andrew, I really want you to play Expedition 33 because like it has
I do want to play that.
It has some of those things. It has some of those things. Like, it will have like a results screen. There is a transition in between each battle. There is no turbo mode. There's none of that. But you're constantly engaged.
Right. Yeah.
No,
I do.
You have to be.
That's on my list, honestly. I do think I'm going to try and play that before year end, and maybe it'll be my next game. I actually hadn't thought about that as being my next option, but it's not a bad one.
Yes, offensive stuff is largely it is just quick time events. Basically, it's like, can you hit the prompts to get extra damage? But like, when it's not your turn, you are constantly thinking, and you're constantly engaged with trying to parry or dodge if you're a pussy.
So what you're telling me is it stole Paper Mario combat.
Yeah, but better. But did it better?
Nope. Paper Mario the GOAT.
I have moved Thousand Year Door up on my play play backlog.
You got to play the original Paper Mario 64 on Nintendo Switch Online.
Maybe, but Matt, you'll appreciate. I just got to the introduction of Matt Mercer. His character, he plays one of the party members, Olivier. I just got to his introduction. I was just did it before we logged on. He does a good job. That's also one of the bones I have to pick with the Trails remake. It's not actually fully voiced. Partially voiced, more than most games. And the one time I have issue with it being partially voiced is when you'll like meet a new NPC. And
you
like
can
a
tell
more
if they're
story,
important or not based on if they have voice.
No, it's more of a story-focused NPC. Every time you go to a new Bracer Guild branch, you talk to the receptionist, who's like your main touchstone in each region, and where you report all your main and side quests to. And so that's just an example. So it's like you go and you meet this character that you're going to see repeatedly. They are a real character. And their lines are voiced, but then it'll go back and forth. Your party member voices are just text boxes, and it'll be an exchange between voiced and non-voiced. That is where I don't like. It's like either
that's why Nintendo the GOAT. Nintendo realized voice acting is expensive. I just pay one dude to go into a booth and go, huh?
Just do gibberish, Nintenglish. No, I'm like, either have this conversation be fully voiced or non-voiced. Pick one. That's my one pet peeve there. But also
gaming companies. Well, I guess that just means we're gonna have to use AI voice actors to fill in a lot of these text boxes.
A real bummer though for me is the voice actor for the real. There are technically 2, but the real main character of the game, Estelle Bright. I find her incredibly annoying, which is a real bummer because she's such a great character. I think she's like from the original games, is one of my all-time favorite protagonists in a JRPG. Like, is not a caricature of just like one character trait blown up into all these things. She's has a real personality, is sarcastic and strong-willed and all these
real
things.
Personalities.
But that you resort to Scheherazade, your more adult companion, who all of her special ability animations take full use of ample jiggle physics, and wow, it's beautiful. I love it. But no, Estelle is, she's like both like, again, sarcastic and really kind of gung-ho, but also like is really caring and can be contemplative and passionate in all these ways, but is a well-rounded character, unlike a lot of kind of JRPG protagonists where it's just like, you like food. That's your whole personality, is you're hungry.
Okay, you don't have to call out most of the shonens like that.
Yeah. But JRPG protagonists often fall in that same kind of descriptor. So
yeah, would you say Monkey D. Luffy only likes food, or does he like freedom too?
He likes food and freedom. Yeah, I was gonna say he likes the freedom to eat food.
Yeah. Would you say Goku only likes food, or does he also like putting the world in danger because he likes fighting people at their strongest?
He's at least excused because he has brain damage. But it just is a bummer because Estelle is just such a great character, and I loved her character. To then me being so annoyed every time she opens her mouth in this version is a bit annoying. But it's growing on me a little bit. It's not so bad after about 10 hours.
That's the Xenoblade 2 issue of people love Xenoblade 2, but they hate Rex.
I never minded Rex's voice actor. I
didn't hate Rex, but there's definitely a large contingent of people online who are just like, every time it's just, Mithra!
Yeah. All right. So I've been yapping on long enough, and I still have more games to share. So Andrew, what have you been playing? You've been mixing it up genre wise.
Can we pause really quick? I have to piss, or I'm gonna pee myself.
Yeah, I can filibuster.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, back to Night Rain.
Fuck. I guess I earned this one.
No, I wasn't going to. I was going to say, talking about like upcoming games and what's, on the horizon. No, it is quite a shame how much shit is packed into the beginning of October.
Yeah. Yeah, let me pull up my calendar. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff.
Because obviously Pokemon fans are their own special breed. They're all either coping or looking forward to Pokemon Legends coming out. I think that's October 16th. Yote is, I think, what is that, October 4th?
The 2nd.
Yep. Sorry.
And Digimon's the day after.
Yeah. Even before that, you've got Hades 2 coming out. I think that's at the end of this week.
It's end of September. That's the 25th, I think, isn't it?
I believe that's the date.
How did I not put that in my calendar? That's the same day as Sonic Racing.
Yep. Which has been getting decent reviews. I think it's in the low 80s Metacritic.
Yeah. It's that Hatsune Miku is carrying that. Is hard carrying.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Mega Man. People can't get enough of Rockman. Yes, I use the original Japanese name.
When are you going to try to fit in Silk Song?
Long time. I have to beat the original Hollow Knight first. I'm not going to just do Silk Song without...
I thought you've played Hollow Knight.
I played it. I haven't beaten it. I like that Andrew just metaphysicized through the brick wall back there, almost as if it isn't real.
Almost. I have superpowers.
Are you okay now?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry about that. So yeah, jumping in. What have I been playing? So as mentioned, I'm currently now in the market for another main game, as I just wrapped up my playthrough of Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, and it's a banger. This game is fantastic. I'm so glad I have the opportunity to experience it in a modern setting with modern comforts. And
play with the piss filter.
I am a coward, but it hits. They cooked with this game as both this remake in general, and then originally they cooked with it in terms of plot. It's truly one of the best story-driven games that I've played in terms of keeping you consistently engaged in narrative and in building out the gameplay and how you navigate each of your situations. And something that I really appreciate about these games that I don't think is a common occurrence is that the things that your character does in cutscenes, you can do in gameplay. I often feel like there's an exaggeration of your abilities in cutscenes in a lot of these kind of story-driven action games.
Have you ever played Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes on the GameCube, where Snake is running along missiles that Liquid shoots at you from the hind helicopter?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is not doing that, which I just think is a great way of rewarding your gameplay, or not your gameplay, rewarding the player with, mastering gameplay and being able to make themselves feel as cool as, Snake looks in some of these cutscenes with close quarters combat and taking out Russians and all sorts of baddies. So I really, really enjoyed my experience.
Did you see Konami put out a survey asking people what they want to be the next remastered game or remake?
Really?
Yeah.
No, I have not seen that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So I submitted 200,000 bot accounts saying that Metal Gear Solid 5 should be the next one.
Play with me. So what, how'd you feel with the combat, the stealth combat?
It feels
How was the
really good.
toolkit? How's the toolkit?
The toolkit's great. You find, it's not a game that holds your hand, but it also does a good job of pushing you in the right direction without feeling over tutorialized or baby moded, for lack of a better term. But it's a super tight game. The controls feel really clean. The gunplay is fantastic. I personally didn't use a lot of the tools outside of just like the compass and thermal gear when needed, or thermal goggles when needed. But the gunplay itself is goated, and close quarters combat is also goated. Taking a guy hostage from behind, using him as a human shield, interrogating him. Like, you can do all of those things.
Pretty sure that's a war crime according to the Geneva Convention.
Well, hey, this is Black Ops, baby. There are no war crimes.
Suggestion.
There are no rules.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's an operative, and we're just trying to ascertain a set of outcomes that require sacrifice. So it's great, though. I really do recommend it. I think is a perfect example of everything coming together with the game's development to make something incredible.
Were there any pain points though? Any remaining jank that, just the fresh coat of paint couldn't cover over? Particularly difficult bosses?
No, I didn't.
Any fail states or anything?
No, I didn't have any fail states outside of just skill issues, and very that didn't happen frequently. I think I died like maybe 3 times in reality, and those were all due to me getting caught in missions where you have to specifically stay stealthy. And so one of them was...
Did you kill the end by timing him out?
I did do that. No, not by timing him out, actually.
Did you kill him earlier with shooting him in the wheelchair?
You could shoot him in the wheelchair. So I did do that, but I save scummed, so I did it. Got the
achievement
the achievement, and then reloaded and let him live so that I could fight him for real. Which I'm really glad I did, because I think that is probably my favorite boss fight in the game outside of
I've
the
got
last
a friend
one.
who's save scumming. You're supposed to do it and then do a whole other playthrough.
Yeah, do my...
I just love the idea that you can have him die of old age.
Yeah, time him out. It's so funny. It's hilarious. And there's so many great
Truly
examples.
the end indeed.
Yeah. There's so many great examples of the creativity you can use as the player to conquer any specific, challenge presented to you by the game. Whether it's the boss fights and how you take out the boss, you can wait out the end, you can fake your death and have the bosses come up to you and, then come back to life and take them out when they're surprised, and you can get some extra points.
I think it's in a helicopter, maybe it might be a plane with Ocelot.
Yeah, you got to pick between the two guns, and you're basically playing Russian roulette.
Yeah, you play Russian roulette with Ocelot. That's at the very end.
But you can choose not to shoot him. You can miss, and it has a different outcome.
Yeah, you have a couple different outcomes, but you don't It's just based on which gun you choose, and then you get
what I've seen is like that. If he gets the gun, it's a blank.
Yeah, it's both. It works both ways. Ocelot got the gun with the blank in my playthrough, so he shoots me, and then he's like, "It's a blank," and that's kind of the end of his character.
Be my boyfriend.
Yeah, exactly. It sets up their platonic entanglement that will have severe consequences for
ripple
world
effects
from there on out. But there is just so much to like. Like I did not feel any real pain points. There was no point that made me really frustrated. Honestly, the most frustrating experience for me was the Sorrow fight, because I killed so many people that dodging them all was a bit difficult. But it just meant I died once the first time, and then realized I can't go through the ghost. That's what was damaging me. So that was one of the pain point there.
So that's interesting. Is that it's a fight that's punishing you for if you've had a violent playthrough up to that point. It's attacking you with all the ghosts of your previous kills.
Yeah, exactly. So the Sorrow boss fight is one of the more iconic from the entire series, and it's not even a fight. It's just you walk down a river and you see all of the ghosts of everyone you've killed in the game up to that point, and you have to tactically just avoid them. And as long as you avoid them, you don't take damage. Sorrow does shoot some like energy beams at you that you also have to dodge, but it's also easy to avoid as long as you know you're supposed to, which is the reason I died the first time was I didn't realize that
energy being shot at him and was like, I should take that.
Well, I was dodging those, but I was not dodging the ghosts. I was 100% just walking right through those guys and being like, this is fine. But yeah, it absolutely is a much easier path to walk if you have gone with a more non-lethal playthrough. I was doing sick things. I was taking guards out with the sleep darts, and then I was knifing them to death.
Killing them. Incredible.
Andrew's nightmare game might be Spec Ops: The Line, I'm pretty sure is what it's called, where at the end of the game, after you've beaten it, depending on how brutal you are, the credits are just all of like I think one of the things you can do is like napalm a village and stuff like that. And your end credits are just all of the people's families that you've like brutally murdered. And
this is a similar thing. I'm sure they were operating and basing some of that off of this boss. But there's just so much fun here. The story's fantastic. The voice acting's amazing. The visuals are great in the remake, and the gunplay and game loop is both continually repeatable and enjoyable. And they add new flourishes. You feel accomplished by taking bosses out, both non-lethally or lethally. You just have so many ways of solving the game's puzzles while also getting a really great narrative, which I think is rare. We don't get those games that really do both so well all that often.
So will you go back and play Metal Gear 2, like Metal Gear Solid 2, which I just played in this month as well? I was hoping to be able to play Delta, but then, realizing that it plays like dog shit on Pro, and have yet to see an announcement of a patch fix for that.
Yeah, I don't think they fixed it.
Knowing Konami, they'll release a separate version of the game, Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta Pro Edition.
Yeah. Well, I haven't bought it yet. I haven't bought the game yet, so...
But it will also cost $100.
$100. Fuck. Yeah, no, I want to play it, but yeah, I want you to play
I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna probably, if I play another one,
you're just gonna wait till it's remade.
Yeah, well, that's kind of my hope, honestly, is that because I really want
vote in the survey.
I'm going to. I want 2 remade, and I want 4 because 4 is also like impossible. You can't even play that without using.
I'm gonna dedicate all my votes to remaking the NES Metal Gear games.
The original Metal Gear.
Not even the original Metal Gear, the NES one, which was the
which is not as good. Yeah.
which was the copy that Kojima hated. Remember?
The reason he made 2, yeah.
No, that's Snake's Revenge is the one is the reason that's non-canon and the reason he made 2.
Okay.
But no, there's the NES port of the original changed a bunch of stuff. It did change a bunch of things, and he was not happy with it. He didn't have any part of it.
No, but I'll probably play 5 and just wrap up the Big Boss storyline that's at least currently available on PlayStation.
Now remember that there's like multiple versions of 5 because there's what's it called?
I have the
Zero
complete
Grounds.
One. Yeah,
Is that what
Ground
it's called?
Zeroes.
Ground Zero. Yeah.
Which is like a prequel.
It's a prequel. It's like you can play it in a couple hours.
Yeah. I've played parts of it.
It was kind of a tech demo.
But it's like 7 missions.
You're gonna play Metal Gear Survive? You need to. It's the best game ever.
I really want to play Rising.
I was gonna say the other one I want to play badly is Metal Gear Rising. But I do feel like I have to play 2. Yeah, no, I have to play 2 before I say.
You need to know who Raiden is.
You also need to play 4. You need to or watch the stuff of 4 as well.
For Rising? Rising's canonically after 4?
It's not canon. It is questionably canon, but it is the, if you ignore that questionable nature, it is the final. It is the final.
Okay. I thought it
story.
Was between.
Nope.
But yeah,
it is after.
Delta is great. I just listened to Felix and Ben's episode on, not this Ben.
Brendan,
yeah, sorry, Brendan. Couldn't remember. Brendan and Felix's episode on MGS3, and they really didn't change anything. It is the exact same game, just with modern graphics, modern gameplay setup, those quality of life enhancements to make things a little bit less, janky, and it is just a fantastic experience. I highly recommend.
I think you should play 2. I think you can get through it. There's some jank. There's one area that I kept dying in the second half of the game, that when you kept having to run through it, I found really hard. But yeah, there's some jank. There's some challenge. The bosses aren't hard.
You need to play as Raiden running butt naked through a facility, cupping himself.
Yeah, you gotta cup your bits, but you can still do cartwheels while cupping yourself. No, I think you should. I really think you should, because you have the Master Collection, right?
I do. Yeah.
Then play it. You should. It's like 12 hours.
If you don't play it, Kojima will be sad. He will shed a single tear. And then the next remake will be Metal Gear Survive.
It is a fascinating story. It's kind of, I'm still kind of wrapping my head around it, and I've been like watching video essays on it and kind of dissecting what I really enjoyed of the Felix and Brennan thing on 2 was really good. Did you listen to that one? Did you listen
I've
to
listened
it?
to all of them. Yeah.
I haven't listened to 3 yet because I'm not sure that I will before I play it.
Andrew, think of it this way: you have to play it before they all get outlawed for being too political.
Yeah, that might be a real reason.
We're all gonna have to go out and throw all of our political video games into a giant pile so they can be burned.
Yeah. So, anything else that's either on your radar upcoming that we're playing? I know for me, I think like my next 2 games are fairly well situated. In Ghost of Yotei, beginning of October, and then I have to see how it actually pans out, but everything I've been reading about Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 has me hopeful that it will succeed. They have, this was a problem of their own design, so they shouldn't be praised for correcting it, because it was a problem that they created by gating 2 of the playable clans behind day 1 paid DLC that they have, after significant backlash, gone back on and now folded into the full game. So again, you can't praise them for solving a problem that didn't need to exist in the first place. But it's a notoriously troubled game development, so there's always a chance that it doesn't pan out. But from what I've seen and read of it, I'm hopeful, for a cool kind of RPG experience for that. So those are like my next 2 things that I'm looking for.
I got Yotei.
You got to play the Mario Galaxy remasters.
No, not spending $70 on that. We discussed this already.
Yeah, I'll be looking for Yotei. I might download Expedition 33 and get into that. And that's not a bad suggestion as we get closer to year end. I do want to try and play that. with
So
how big it is.
So for me to platinum that game, it took me 60 hours, a little bit less. You don't have to do all of that stuff.
Right.
There is plenty of optional content, and there is ability to still get very strong without, like, I only had to grind at the end to get one of the achievements, to get a character to level 99, and that was like it took me like an hour to do that. But like there are plenty of areas that you don't have to engage with. I chose to because it was rewarding to do so, both in terms of just environments and just fun combat, as well as actual rewards of stuff. But you don't have to do it all. You can just kind of mainline the story in 30-ish hours. But I highly recommend. I mean, the story is fucking fantastic, true, right? So like you will get a fantastic experience just from doing that. Still my game of the year, and I don't see anything topping that for me. Yeah, all right. Yeah, Matt, you're just gonna keep plugging away at Digimon. We know what's
Beyond
what
that,
you're
there's
cooking
like
at.
the Dragon Quest remakes coming out at the end of October.
What about Final Fantasy Tactics? What about that?
That's also coming out.
That's end of September. That's like the 30th or something.
I bought the Switch 1 version with my free Switch 2 upgrade.
Yeah, that's what I'm probably going to get on PlayStation.
Howard.
I haven't decided.
These games are best played handheld.
I mean, you're not wrong. Those kind of tactical games are very, and particularly one that's not going to be graphically intensive.
Men are most tactical when they're pooping.
So true, bestie. All right, yeah. But I don't know when I'm going to fit that one in, but that's another one. Yeah, I'm going to prioritize. All right, I think that's it for us today. What's the schedule looking like? Do we have a
news next week?
Nope, just news. All right. Yeah, we'll be back at the end of the month with the news roundup.
Spoilers, it might be the third month in a row I'm talking about console price increases.
But they just keep coming. Like it's not your fault that they just keep raising the prices.
They just keep making it so easy for me to pick a topic.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, stay tuned for that. We will see you next week.
Hey.
Bye-bye.